Good morning, folks. Happy Monday. I hope and pray that you're well today. Hope and pray that you're not getting blown around or getting bitten by the chill that cold wind brings to you. But it's going to be a beautiful day. It is a beautiful day, and it's going to be a day full of God's blessings. I know it will. I remind you to keep James C. in your prayers. Keep him lifted up as he's there in the hospital in Martinsville. If you'd like to visit, he is in room 427 there in Martinsville. So you're certainly welcome to go and visit, but above all, keep him in your prayers. Keep Sherry and Rhonda in your prayers as well as they take care of him. Just pray for God's intervention and his wholeness in that situation, Brother James. I want to talk to you this morning from the book of Mark, chapter number 16. And if you saw yesterday's message, either if you were here or you saw it live or saw it later on the recording, I mentioned how the synoptic gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, they're all written, of course, from 3 points of view. They tell you the same story, but they add different little nuggets of information here and there. And then in some places, they say the same thing. And this is Mark's account of when Jesus had risen from the grave, and he had appeared to the disciples, and he was giving them that extra bit of teaching that they would need before he ascended into heaven. And in Mark chapter 16 and verse number 15, he gives us our marching orders, folks. You and I, we're followers of Jesus Christ. That makes us disciples. That's what the word disciple means. It means follower. So here's the commission he gave them and us. You know it very well. It's called the Great Commission. Mark says, and he said unto them, Go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. Now, when I read that this morning on my Bible app, I got to thinking about something that I say a whole lot anyway. It is up to each and every one of us who claim the name of Christ to share the gospel and the love of Christ with people around us. You know, it's a foregone conclusion that as long as there's been the church, there have been people that thought that it's only the responsibility of the pastor to share the gospel. Every single Christian is charged, is commissioned with spreading the gospel. Jesus says it right here in Mark chapter number 15. He says it in the closing words of Matthew. He says it in the closing words of Luke. And he says it in the closing words of John. Go into all the world and preach the gospel. He says right here, to every creature. Your translation may say person. The King James, of course, says creature, because think about it. What is the root word of the word creature? Create. We are all created. So we can take good pride in being called creatures, can't we? Because we are created. And Mark instructs us here, giving us the words of Jesus, go into the world and preach the gospel to every creature. Now, John tells us that Jesus is a little bit more broad in his explanation there when he talks about going into Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and to the uttermost parts of the earth. The basic thing here is that we, as Christians, are commissioned to share the gospel everywhere we go. Now, you might not go to the far-flung mission field, but you know what? You have a neighborhood you live in. You have a store that you go to. You have other places where you go. So you may not leave the state. You may not leave the country. You may not even leave Henry or Franklin County. But you have somebody to witness to. Your world is wherever you're at. And if God does call you to share that in the far-flung corners of the world, you be obedient to it. But the bottom line is, we as Christians are commissioned with sharing the gospel with everybody. And that includes every Christian, from the pastor to each and every Christian sitting in the pews. We are all commissioned with sharing the love of God, and that's very much needed in this day and age. And I know you'll agree with me on that, because God's love is something that everybody needs, and it's up to us to share it. God's love, that is, you've heard me say before, manifested in Jesus Christ, manifested in the gospel. Christ was born, Christ died, Christ rose from the grave for each and every one of us. So share the gospel everywhere you go. Hope and pray you all have a wonderful, wonderful day today. And I hope and pray that God is richly blessing you this day. Love you, folks, and I'll talk to you a little bit later. God bless you.